Well, thank you. Some of them are new, so I would definitely hang out to listen to what they are offering. Right now. Okay, so the agenda is, there it is. We will start out with the application process, and then we will move on to the other areas. I'm not going to read this to you because you can probably read yourself. So, okay. This is the boring but really important stuff. Again, I'm not going to read this to you guys. These are snippets that came out of the guidelines. If you are new to the program, I would definitely go to tourism.az.gov and take a look at those guidelines, but this is kind of a quick and dirty listing of who is eligible. I will point out a couple things here. The benefit of participating in this, regardless of your level of participation, is that we match you one-to-one. So that's a 50% match. So if you were to spend $75,000, and I'll explain that, you are matched one-to-one. So and I noticed $75,000. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So new this year, typically we cap out, the spending cap is $50,000. However, this year we are capping at $75,000. So that means that you can spend up to $75,000 and we will match it one-to-one. Another important thing is applications are due July 23rd at 5 p.m. and that's Pacific Standard Time or Mountain Standard Time, exactly the same right now. Tina? Okay, so the process is, I am actually going to go through this. Partners do pay half net rate and they work directly with the publishers. So once you guys decide what you want and we get everything kind of smoothed out, at that point, we hand you off to the publisher and you guys communicate with each other. The selection sheet, again, this year we have an online selection sheet and it has been updated to include save features. Yay! So, but you will have to, there will be a password required. When you get in there, it will actually explain it. Plus, there is more information about this further on in the deck. The selection form will offer media opportunities for each phase of the consumer flow at various budget ranges. So you'll see that there's quite a number of tiered options. The final selection, this is the caveat, final selection results will be based on available funding, availability of each opportunity, and if partner participation minimums are met. So what does that mean? Because the media buyers are negotiating rates with minimum requirements, if we don't meet the minimum requirements, we probably will not be able to get that rate from that publisher. Okay, and then this is the very important thing on what you need to submit. Application form, again, at tourism.az.gov. Designation of DMO affidavit in support of the application. Okay, guys, this is brand new. At this point, I'm going to hand it off to a much smarter person to actually talk about what it is and how to use it. So, Alex, take it away.
Thanks, Jamie. Just to give a quick overview of the DMO affidavit, I know I've emailed most of you, and if not, you saw it in Debbie's Tourism Tuesday message. Historically, AOT has asked for a DMO affidavit for each program that we put out and participants participate in. But this year, we're streamlining efforts, and we're now requiring one DMO affidavit per community per year. This will be an annual policy that AOT will implement. This is a best practice, right? It's going to help protect the community's authority to designate a DMO, and it's going to help protect AOT to ensure that we're working with the appropriate organization. There's only a couple differences between last year's DMO affidavit process and this year. The first is the form needs to be notified and an official action needs to accompany the signed affidavit. And when we talk about an official action, I've had a lot of questions on this. It can be a resolution, a contract, an ordinance, a tribal action, definitely something that comes from the municipality, county, or tribe, right? That's the entity that designates. AOT doesn't designate, we only recognize. And we recognize the authority of the municipality, county, or tribe. So once an official action is created, and it's important to note that the official action also needs to have someone authorized to be able to sign the DMO affidavit. Once an official action has been completed, the DMO affidavit can be filled out by the signed authorized signatory from the official action, and then it has to be notarized. Both then, so the official action and the DMO affidavit need to be emailed to me in order to ensure that we're on the up and up as far as policy is concerned. There's a couple important things to note. If you're a municipality and you're the DMO, you need to designate yourself. So for instance, the city of Arizona designates the city of Arizona as the official DMO. If you're located in an unincorporated part of the state, your county may designate you. If you want to talk about this further, I'm happy to chat. And DMO affidavit assistance materials are attached to the meetings materials for today, and they include FAQs and a process map. It's also located on tourism.az.gov. And the due date for the DMO affidavit for rural co-op has been extended to September 30th. Thanks.
Perfect. So for those who have participated in the past, you knew that by the deadline, you had to send me your application, your selection sheet receipt, and the affidavit. So if you need more time to go through the process that Alex just talked about, you do not need to submit it at that time. You can wait until the 30th. The other change is you'll note that she said send it to her. So really all that you're sending me is your application and your selection sheet receipt. The affidavits, regardless of whether you turn them in on the 23rd or you wait until September 30th, will go to Alex Ridgway. Okay, all right, so take it away. Oh, you know what? Let me just also mention, guys, we are from last year. If you are unable at this time you do not have your budget finalized to participate in the program, but you know that at some point you may, please just submit an application which tells me that you're interested. And then if and when you get your budget in a good place, you can contact us and we can go ahead and put together a plan for you. The one caveat of that is, though, it will be of whatever the remaining tactics are. So if a tactic met its minimum and it's booked up, it may not be available. So once again, if you're interested in participating, but you're not quite there yet, please submit an application by July 23rd, 5 p.m. to kind of book your reservation. Okay, Carrie, take it away.
All right, well, thank you so much. So we always like to take a step back and look at what happened in FY21 with our co-op budgets. So last year we had partner contributions of over $780,000. AOT match and anchor ads was $960 almost $1,000. And so the total campaign spend was actually $1.7 million, which is pretty amazing support for our rural communities. We also had 30 partners consisting of rural communities, tribes, and regional partnerships. The budget for this year at this moment in time is $1 million. And so we are really excited to work with you guys again, especially in this really important time for all of our rural communities. So also looking back, last year was kind of a weird year, as we all know, but we did have some learnings from our program. So we always implement partner minimums, and that's really to ensure that anything that you buy into has enough support to make it worthwhile for you to spend budget on and for AOT to match you. We also had our arrival list pixels that helped us gain really helpful insights into the success of each program and to give you guys some feedback as well. We also introduced some more drive-focused digital options, and those actually received a lot of interest this past year. On the flip side, shared print opportunities actually were of less interest than in years past. Additionally, because of COVID-19, airport billboards obviously declined, which was expected. So just things to note of what was a high level of interest or low level of interest from previous years. Then we also had our community programs such as Local First Arizona and Hound that were included to really help bolster our community brands and help bolster our businesses in those areas. And those saw very strong participation. We also had our Coraggio research opportunities that had a lot of support as well. So looking forward to FY22, there's a lot on here, so I'm just gonna kind of highlight the biggies. This program, we will continue to have those local and tribe shortfly market opportunities for you. We will also continue to use our Revivalist pixels for some reporting and some success metrics for us. However, there's an update to the online selection website, which I'm really excited to share, that's actually based on feedback from the rural community participants. We have actually implemented a save form and a login so that you don't have to keep entering your information over and over and over again. And so that if you need to go to your board or to someone else to have those approvals happen before you submit, you can now save that information in the platform. So I'm super excited. I know you guys have been asking for that, and we're happy to deliver on that. This year, we have removed any opportunities that have been offered in the past that have not been selected over the last number of years. Those have been removed. So if you don't see something that you were expecting, let us know and we can let you know why. Also, print opportunities, we're going to move to a more individual based instead of those larger shared sections. We will still create sections out of those, but this gives you a little bit more flexibility to get something that fits your timing, your sizing, and so you can still have that print opportunity without it needing to be supported by several other communities. Also, out of home, we'll focus on street level and highways just to maximize that local population reach as well. And then, as Jamie mentioned, we're super, super excited that the maximum budget for partner has been risen to $75,000. Just a caveat, like we do have a budget cap for the program. So depending on what that looks like, there could be some adjustments, but for right now, we're super, super excited about this $75,000. One slight caveat that's not in here is because it's such a new development, the website still says $50,000, but you can still select up to $75,000. So just don't be thrown off. Just know that it will be updated later. And then also, we always just want to call out that AOT does require the brand mark to accompany any of our partners' logos on placements. There are some exceptions to some of our small website ads that don't really have space for two, but in general, we should have the community and AOT logo on everything. And if there is any new creative that you're submitting, please make sure you run that through AOT to be approved. And then for this year, there could be a potential for a prepayment of a media plan that could be recommended to you if a participant has had challenges meeting deadlines or payment requirements in the past. We may just work with you on a prepayment plan. So now into the nitty-gritty, our strategic goals are the same. We still want to increase visitation and return visitation, and we want to get that visitor spending up in our communities and move them around the state. We want to drive overnight visitation and deliver a really cohesive message across all of our state and have a larger statewide impact. And then we always want to secure partnerships and opportunities that work for everyone. So this year, our campaign timeline is September 2021 through August of 2022. Primary focus for AOT is really that October through April timeframe. Secondary is May through August. We will have support from AOT anchors throughout the entire time to match up with your timing and your selections. Our target audiences are still the same from previous years, and we will be targeting Arizona and regional areas most specifically this year. So all in all, to be a really effective program, we are going to continue to monitor everything with our Revivalist pixels that we possibly can. We will work with each publisher on your behalf to go ahead and place that. So we won't be sending you pixels and having you deal with any of that. And then we also want, we have research to provide our digital performance reports to each participants. And then due to the specific nature of our cooperative marketing efforts. Once those opportunities are approved, there really are no changes or cancellations unless you receive approval from AOT. So because AOT is paying for half of the placement, they need to be notified if there is ever a month change, or if there's a delay in timing for creative assets, or a cancellation for anything. Please just let us know so that we can make sure that we adjust the AOT side as well. And then just as a reminder, we've provided opportunities to create a very holistic media plan, and our selections, the selections that you select in the sheet, are to bolster and support your own marketing initiatives. So really think through what you already have planned, what your initiatives and your goals are, and make sure that you're selecting those opportunities so that your overarching media plan and your marketing goals. If you have questions or if you need help with that, we are going to continue to have the media calls that you can call in and get support from the OMA team. So we're happy to help you if you need help with that section. Alrighty, so let's get started. We do have a chat feature, or if you do have questions as they pop up, please go ahead and put them in. We'll address them at the end. But we will have a QA section at the end for everybody. All right, so I'm going to kick this section off as well. We're going to go over our digital media offerings. So we are going to continue to have that travel endemic focused audiences, really contextually targeted display banners. And the point of this is to really put your message in front of people who are already consuming travel data and who have identified themselves as an engaged traveler. So our available partners are on here, and just remember, you will have far more details than you probably ever needed in our selection sheet. We will have local and drive market specific digital opportunities as well, to make sure that we're hitting off on those markets that you guys have deemed important to you and that align with AOT. So again, these opportunities are for display banners or emails or anything like that that are specific to a market that you want to speak to. We'll also have programmatic audience targeted display ads. And the point of this here is that instead of going to a site direct or anything like that, or looking at contextual identifiers, we are actually following a particular audience. So you can create custom audiences and be able to follow wherever that particular person happens to be while they're online. So I'm actually now going to hand it over to Hannah from Miles, and she's going to take you through one of these really awesome programmatic options.
Hey, and thanks, Carrie. I think that's a perfect way to kind of summarize programmatic, but because it's kind of a new offering and a new way to approach that digital advertising. So programmatic advertising really is that automated buying and selling of digital media. So we're automatically optimizing digital campaigns versus setting you up for those direct buys on each individual site. So as Carrie mentioned, it's a really great way to take the first party data that we're gathering from visitarizona.com and taking that general audience that is already interested in Arizona and finding a way to continue to follow them through their travel planning journey. So we know that visitors are visiting, almost hundreds of sites as they're planning their trips. So keeping your message and the AOT brand in front of them throughout that process is really the goal of this programmatic buy. Do you want to go to the next slide, please? So I kind of covered this a little bit, but generally this is a program that allows you to go from the awareness that's developed through print campaigns and visitarizona.com as a site in general. General filters that we'll use in terms of the types of visitors that are looking at Arizona and the types of visitors engaging with this information. We can use that as a filter to continue promoting your destination and your messaging as travelers continue down the funnel. So one of the key things to this program is that the click-through is direct to your site. So you get the credibility and the leverage of AOT branding and AOT audience building partnered with your specific logo and branding and click through. Next slide. So just to kind of give an overview of the campaign objective would be building awareness of Arizona tourism and leveraging that awareness to generate impressions and clicks to your site. So we offer both display and native advertising on the display side, and then we also have a video pre-roll program. The display and native advertising is meant to generate site traffic and ultimately click-throughs to your site where visitors can get more information. And then the video really kind of helps you tell a story and helps you get in front of those visitors in a way that is sometimes more impactful. We tend to see a 75% completion rate on those videos, as well as a 0.1% click-through rate on the display advertising, which is right about industry average for other programmatic opportunities. But again, you're getting that first-party data through visitarizona.com. And this is just a quick overview of what an audience targeting segment could be. We keep a top filter of travel enthusiasts and intenders on all campaigns. And then from there, we could go down to the detail of more behavioral around adventure travel, adventure seeking, outdoors, or shopping and dining, and more specific experiences like that. Next slide. And then super quick here, just a kind of a peek at how the pricing works. We have packages from $1,200 to $7,500. And the total impression or the total reach of these campaigns varies from around 330,000 impressions to over 2 million. So these are really cost-effective and impactful campaigns. And as we go, one of the biggest things that we're able to do is optimize towards specific creatives that are performing best and specific audiences and placements that are performing best. So because it's hosted through our own DSP, we're able to kind of manage those performance metrics individually. So Carrie, that's all I've got. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah. We appreciate you being on today. I'm going to round out the rest of the opportunities in the digital section. So we also are including custom content opportunities to help you build up your repertoire of articles, written content, video, etc. So we have quite a few opportunities for you in this section and are really happy to be able to help you build up some of those brand elements for you. The next piece, we will also have a few connected TV opportunities for any of those who have new videos or want to make sure that they include a connected TV portion of their program as well. It's a really great way to help get in front of people who, as they're continuing to watch video and TV, and make sure that we get them interested and it piques their interest to go to your website. We also have a couple streaming audio opportunities for those of you who have radio programs. And this is really to help, again, inspire and get people moving forward and interested in Arizona and your destination offerings in particular. So now I am going to hand it over to Chris to take you through the print offerings.
Great, thanks Carrie so much. So our in-state print offerings will be looking at individual print offerings as opposed to shared. Again, as Carrie mentioned, so we have more flexibility on your timing. We'll reach Arizona residents and get them to explore more destinations within their own state and support local businesses. Our drive market and target city print will be a combination of shared and individual print opportunities. We'll always try to bucket up the ads together to create sections where we can, but they can run individually as well. We'll reach potential travelers in drive markets and target cities, as research is showing that travelers may be more likely to travel by car versus airline in the near future. And then travel will capture the attention of travelers who are consuming information through the travel focused publications. And just as a call out this year that the airline publications are no longer in publication. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Hannah at Miles to discuss this year's official state travel guide.
Awesome, thanks Chris. Yeah, we're super excited going into our fourth year working with AOT on their official state travel guide and state travel map. some of the big things that we're doing with this product is moving into a heavily storytelling and kind of effort to bring Arizona to life through the pages. So this is a great opportunity to have your advertising in a really highly contextual place, but also see the storytelling and the personality of Arizona coming through. A few things to keep in mind is we're kind of a year ahead on this print run. So this will run September 22 through August 2023. So the advertising due date and all of that is next spring, but this gives you an opportunity to kind of leverage the overall distribution and engagement that AOT is able to get through this guide, as well as the strong storytelling and brand presence that the magazine provides. Next slide. So we have options all the way from a full page placement, full page premium placement down to basic listings. So we can really access any budget level through participation in this product. It does have a print run of 400,000 on the guide level, which with our extended readership and digital readership, you can reach almost 1 million viewers through this product. So one thing to note is that every print ad comes with a free basic listing, and then additional listings as you purchase more kind of go down by 50% at each level. So there's a real opportunity to represent multiple locations within your community, multiple businesses if you've got a couple locations within your own business as well. So there's a really great opportunity to kind of let visitors know where to find you and how to engage with you. Next slide. And then the map is another fantastic resource, particularly for our rural destinations. The map shows the entire state on one side, and on the other side has a couple of metro breakdowns. But what's super impactful is that we've got space for a whole bunch of listings so that you can inspire and inform travelers as they're in the process of their trip. So if they're road tripping around the state amongst all of the amazing things to see, they can hopefully make some last minute decisions or kind of plan their trip out around places along the road that they can stop and visit. So again, we've got a couple display options, and then our listings are a really effective way to communicate with visitors. And again, that's all for the next guide, which will launch next September, and materials aren't due till next spring. So that's all. Back to you, Chris.
Great, thank you. So this year's out-of-home offerings, we'll be packaging things market specific, and we've packaged them up by digital billboards and vinyl billboards. Once we select the market that you want, and then whether you want digital or vinyl, then we'll go in and get the exact locations dependent on availability. So we'll be targeting street side boards and highway units where consumers are moving throughout the area. And then digital billboard is available in Phoenix. What we've done is we've packaged this together. We've got some great negotiated historical rates where we can have boards going throughout the city to tell all the Phoenicians about all of the rural communities and get them out and about the state. So we'd like to have a minimum of 3 partners, or you could buy the entire 10 board package yourself, and we can work with you on those details. Now I'm going to pass it off to Becky Blaine, Deputy Director, Arizona Office of Tourism, to review the trade and media offerings.
Mute helps. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to preface our offerings by saying that due to COVID-19 and the uncertainty around international travel, we recognize the need to be flexible, and there are quite a few things internationally that are still not determined date-wise yet. We do have determined cost figured out, and new this year, we're going to be offering credits that you would be able to apply to events that are listed as TBD. So we don't encourage you to apply for or choose the credits, domestic or international credits, when it's something that already has stated pricing. But you can see on the screen there, we are going to have a $300 max domestic credit, or up to a 50% match, whichever is less. And international, the 50% price for an international mission would be $1,250. If you are also looking to renew your Brand USA Global Marketplace platform, you could take one of those credits of $12.50 and apply it to that. I think their price is around $7,000 for renewal this year. So you would be able to register for one of those credits and apply it to that renewal. So our first offer this year is similar to last year and previous years, Go West Summit. It is going to be in Reno and Tahoe. They have tentatively listed February 2022. I don't think they have the final RFP from a hotel location yet, but as they get info, they will list it on that gowestsummit.com website. This is one of those ones that is self-registration. You must register yourself, choose it in your program, but then register yourself and send AOT an invoice and your proof of registration to receive your payback. Now, Travel Classics West, we're hoping third time is a charm. This is the third set of dates that we've had to move our conference that was originally slated for last year, and due to COVID had to be moved. So we are going to be in person at Adero Scottsdale, and we are hosting the media marketplace that many of you are familiar with. So there is a cost if you are not a conference sponsor directly with Mayor and Rudolph, then you want to attend the media marketplace that AOT offers separately, you will need to register for this if you would like to apply a credit from Rural Co-op to your table display at that event. Our date is Thursday, November 18th. The conference is following the same pattern as previous years. We'll kick off with the AOT Media Marketplace on Thursday, late morning through the afternoon with a buffet lunch and networking with the journalists, and we'll invite local media as well. And then the conference opens later that evening. So I believe Marin also still has conference sponsorships available, but those are separate from AOT's Rural Co-op program and separate from AOT's offering. Now, San Francisco, we originally had planned on potentially doing an LA, San Francisco. We are looking at doing the Giants Fan Fest again. So we like to try and work our events around when partners might already be looking to travel to participate with AOT, as we have done with travel and adventure shows. So we're tentatively scheduling this for February 2022 around the Giants Fan Fest, and it would be open to the DMO partners and PR teams that would be, you don't necessarily have to be working with us on Fan Fest to come do a media mission with us in San Francisco. And then IPW, we know this year is an anomaly because we have IPW in Las Vegas happening in September and June scheduled for Orlando now in 2022, but they both fall into fiscal year 22. So we are offering booth co-op again, and that would be the opportunity to be with AOT in our booth, sharing our appointment schedule. It is not that we would register you for your own separate booth, but if you are a DMO that typically buys your own booth, but also participates in Rural Co-op, you can take this match and use it to buy down your booth price or things like that. So if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me or Joanna before you register if you want to get help figuring any of this out, but we're happy to answer any questions you might have. And then Brand USA Travel Week, they do have dates published for that. The cost is much higher this year than the first year that they offered it. It is $7,000. So we are allowing one of those international credits to be applied to this. If you wanted to attend and if you need any more information, you can reach out to Jessica on our team about that. She has more details. We are still weighing our options if we are attending or not yet. So I just want to put that out there, but this is what all the information we have so far from Brand USA. And then Mexico Trade and Media Mission. So we tentatively have earmarked January 2022. Again, any of these dates are subject to change because of travel restrictions, border closures, COVID in general. So that's why you'll see many of them listed as TBCs. We have not confirmed specific dates yet, and will as we get a little bit closer. So the prices are listed there. So I would pick this. I would not pick just a credit and then decide to apply it to this later. If you're interested in the Mexico mission, choose the Mexico mission, please, on your selection sheet. And then UK Media Mission, we are planning to go to Travel Classics Switzerland, which also was moved as part of our sponsorship of the Travel Classics conferences. And so this would be planned for following that to London and one other location. So Kim and the UK reps are working on this now with some potential dates. So if you are interested in going on a UK Media Mission, please select this on your sheet. And the total cost is $2,500, but again, the rural co-op price would be half of that. It would be $1,250. And then here's some other TBDs that we have. So if you're interested in these, you can choose them on your selection sheet and then choose one of those international credits that you'll be able to apply to this as well. But these dates are also still TBD again, because of international potential travel restrictions. And then under tribal tourism, we have the 23rd Annual American Indian Tourism Conference has been rescheduled at Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation at the Weekapaw Casino Resort. And Dawn from our team, our tribal relations manager, is on the planning committee for that. So we have these updated dates here, October 25th through the 28th. And I believe there are some sponsorships available, but this is a cost to participate. So if you are interested in attending and participating, the cost for registration range from the $525 to $875, and we would match 50% of that highest registration, so $437. So again, this is a self-registration conference, so you must register yourself and send us an invoice to be reimbursed. But if you're interested in this, please choose this on your selection sheet also. I think that wraps up our offerings from trade and media. Please feel free to reach out to me or anyone listed on our different events with any questions. And now I'm going to turn it over for research information.
Morning, everyone. This is Kari in research. This year we have two different research offerings. The first, we're again happy to offer mobile location data from NEAR. They're formerly known as Uber Media. The intention of this data is to improve demographic and visitor behavior intelligence. It's a really cost-effective way to get robust information. You'll have data such as visitor segments, top origin markets, top points of interest, demographics, audience affinity, as well as a heat map to kind of visualize movements within your market. The data is provided as an online dashboard. And the choice that you have is to get 6 months of data or a full year of data. For each of those, you'll have monthly updates and you can customize what the actual months are that you're getting data for. This will look at visitors who live at least 50 miles from the destination, and the price is based on the population of your destination and then whether or not you choose the 6 month or the full year option. And we do have a representative from NEAR on the webinar today. If you have questions during the Q&A at the end of the webinar. Our second offering this year, we're super excited to be adding economic impact reporting based on feedback that we heard from you all. Dean Runyon Associates will be offering this, and AOT has worked with Dean Runyon Associates for many years. So what's nice is this data will be comparable to what you're used to seeing from us each year with the state, regional, and county level information. And I'm going to pass it over to Jordan Bolander, Dean Runyon Associates, to review what's included with this.
Thanks, Kari. So the work we do at a level below county is very similar to the county level reporting we produce for the Office of Tourism. In this case, it's direct impacts. So visitor expenditures, what that spending is on, what's the generated earnings for the sole proprietors and employees in the area, the total employment for the industry, and state and local tax receipts generated by travel. We provide this information in a PDF formatted document. A variety of the tables and graphics are included. This year, we've expanded our capabilities to provide a more accessible document as one of our focuses. Our information we've always encouraged to be shared in a public forum. So we've made it a little easier to understand our information and digest it. And then we'll provide a time series as well, so you can understand some of the historical perspective along with the travel effects from the last year. And then we can do additional years if requested. We can go back as far as the Office of Tourism has been working with us, which I believe it goes back into the 90s. But and then in addition to just the travel impacts, we can add visitor volume estimates for overnight visitors. And this is something that hasn't been done on our county level reporting, but it's something we do in many other locations across the US. So here's just kind of some representations of what that information looks like. Again, when we talk about travel spending, direct travel spending, we do break that out by each type of accommodation as data is available. So you'll understand how big your hotel visitor markets is in terms of their economic contribution compared to maybe people who are staying with friends and family. We also talk about what that money is being spent on. So where are they spending in restaurants? Do they spend at retail? And how that economic activity relates to the size of the industries in your location. Not present here is we also do an attempt to compare. So we'll take a look at your rural area and compare it to the county, or if it's a regional based report, we'll compare it to a larger region. So you have an idea of where you fit in travel wise to a bigger scale. And if the data exists, we'll also make the comparison to other industries in your location. So where does travel fit in compared to, say, manufacturing or agriculture? Just give you an idea of how important the travel industry is to your community. And I think I'll hand it over to Carrie.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate it. So now, as usual, we always have some additional offerings that don't quite fit into any of the other areas or that we would like to dive in deeper with you. So the first one up is we are going to continue to offer CrowdRamp. And as most of you know, this is that user-generated content platform that allows you to source resources. It is connected directly with AOT. So those of you who currently have a contract with them can continue that, or we're also accepting new. Those annual licenses will begin September 1st for any new or renewals. So next up is Hound. So this was a new offering last year, and we are going to continue it forward for this year. So this is, again, a local business foot traffic and cash generation platform. It's really to help people buy vouchers or get promotions to support your local businesses in your community. And as we know now more than ever, our rural communities and the businesses inside of them really need that boost to be able to make sure that we're getting that foot traffic back up and support our local businesses. So we are happy to offer this again. There were quite a few people who took advantage of this last year, so they can continue to move their program forward. We're also accepting new. And they did add a few new offerings this year, so just kind of dig through it if you are interested. It's really fully managed end to end. They're going to have an email campaign portion. They will actually help you work with your businesses. They'll do outreach for you, and they can give you some insight into what types of promotions, offers, or vouchers work really well with our rural communities now that we have some research and data from our initial ones that started the program. They can use those insights and historical data to help you build a really great package for your community and your businesses. So if you are interested, I highly recommend that you reach out to either Off Madison Ave during our media hours, or we do have the contacts up here as well. So if you reach out to Eric or Larry, they'll be happy to chat with you too. So now I'm actually going to hand it over to Liza Nolan. She's going to take you through our local first AZ opportunity.
Thank you guys. Hello, everybody. So Local First Arizona engages in the rural co-op for those communities that are sort of getting started in looking at tourism. A lot of times that can be a challenge, knowing where to start and what to say and how to say it. And so we offer 3 different packages and have for the last few years worked with some amazing communities on these initiatives. You don't have to opt in for all 3. You don't have to opt in any order. But depending on where you are in the process, we offer branding, which I'll go into what that encompasses, design, and then the development of a community profile. So if you go to the next one. So in the branding, you could see we worked with Florence this year, and the typical process here is that we firmly believe that a brand in a rural community is not going to stick without a lot of input. We've got a lot of stakeholders in our rural communities, and so a big part of this is community convening around the brand and identity itself. So we'll conduct up to 3 different focus groups, sometimes it's 4, where we'll bring in your business community, we'll bring in your residents, and we'll bring in your community leaders. Some communities have also done youth engagement to have input on the brand, the identity development, and what that means for the community. The outputs that you get through this package are going to obviously be a logo. So you can see that, and then a brand standards guide, which tells you how to use the logo, what your colors are, and what your fonts are, so that you know and can have that used in a consistent manner, along with tagline development if that is something helpful, which usually is for your message and additional assets created. The next one is actual design. So this is a project that we did with Kingman this year, and you can see that they were kind of going the digital route. So a lot of times once you have a brand and you know your identity, you're not really sure how to develop ads and some of the print ads or digital ads or any of the other things that you can do. So you can use this package for design. It's up to 50 hours of design time that you can use towards web design, graphic design. We did some audio this year with Kingman, and that's super helpful. And then the next one. Finally, if you haven't checked out ruralaz.com, this will be something that we also are building a new web experience for this year. But currently we house about 20 community profiles on the Local First Arizona homepage and at ruralaz.com. And these are really quality of life profiles. So again, we come into your community and we convene up to 20 stakeholders that have an opinion and have some heart in that community to get a real feel for what it feels like to be there, live there, work there. And we capture that in a profile along with listings that show your arts and culture, history, heritage, food and drink, even entrepreneurial opportunities that you might have for small businesses that want to move in. And then we house that at ruralaz.com. We also included in that package do 3 months of digital advertising to get those profiles out. So one of the things too I would love to highlight in this work is no matter which part of this you opt into, there's a lot of engagement and a lot of input that we capture for this. We also have really great partners in design. So we at Local First have a team of 8 marketing professionals that work on this with us, along with rural designers typically that we're working with, like Dog, Cat, Mouse Media that is on here. And we also added a tribal designer this year for the tribal communities to make sure we have that cultural awareness going into some of those projects. So we really want to make sure that the outcome is authentic to your community and work with you to make sure that's the case.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Liza. I really appreciate it. So now our next opportunity is with Casual Astronaut, and I am going to hand it over to Jeff to go through those offerings.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Ficker. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Casual Astronaut, and we're thrilled to be a part of today's discussion. We work with destinations around the country to really create content, websites, and digital marketing campaigns that really kind of share that story that you makes your destination so unique. And those range from very small communities up to Brand USA, as well as hospitality groups around the country. Next slide, please. One of the things that we're really excited about in this particular endeavor is that as travelers are kind of emerging from the post-pandemic, They're increasingly still looking for those kind of less populated open spaces. And that's the greatest strengths, or one of the greatest strengths of this state, is that we have these wonderful small towns and open natural spaces. So in our packages, what we'd really love to do is help share and tell the stories that make your destinations really unique and really appeal to what travelers are looking for in this kind of current era. So you can see here two individual sets, one beginning with our content marketing services. This is where we'll really help you, one, start kind of create a content strategy. What are the stories you want to tell? How do we best share them? Is that through video? Is that through articles? Is that through itineraries? And then as a part of that, you see two tiers here, tier 1 and tier 2, where we'll actually help create that content with local Arizona writers who know your destination and who know how to tell that story. Our second group of services here are under our social media. This is where, it can often be a little daunting of every day, what are we putting in our Facebook channels, Twitter, et cetera. We want to help you kind of create what makes the most sense to get the biggest bang for your buck. You don't necessarily need to be post every day in every channel. So how do we think about a strategy that makes sense for your destination, that reaches the right travelers? And then again, you can see a tier 1 and tier 2, where we're going to help actually create those posts that connects back to your website and other digital platforms. I should note again, as a part of this, that you can see the pricing there is our full price plus, and then in parens that half partner pricing. Next slide, please. And then finally, under our digital marketing services, we've put together a package knowing that your website really is the front door to your destination. As we all begin kind of planning our travels and our trips, we all go online and start Googling, and we start thinking about what does that destination have to offer. And if your website and larger digital marketing strategy really isn't tapping into that, it can be problematic in reaching those travelers to begin with. So we put together a package that really has a website technical audit, a digital marketing audit, as well as a content distribution strategy to really ground your programs and your initiatives, get them off on the right foot, and play that out throughout the rest of the year. And for some deeper information, there's quite a bit there. You'll see that Off Medicine Avenue has put together a Dropbox where you can download a larger PDF with more details around what each of those packages have and how we can maybe talk through something that's a little bit more customized to your destination.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So now we also have a new offering with Miles. Some of you have actually done the destination optimization offering through Miles already, but we're happy to now have it as part of the co-op program and to be able to give you some assistance and some support with budget. So Hannah, go ahead and take it away. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Thank you, appreciate it. So thank you so much. And yes, this program, you may have known it previously as the Google DMO program or the Google Optimization program. And what makes this offering different this year is that we've really taken the opportunity and built some expertise around more of an online presence review versus simply looking at Google and Google travel listings. So this is really an opportunity to claim your online presence and manage your online reputation with a little bit more intent and a lot more support and resources from our team. So overall, the Destination Optimization Program aims to improve the quality of your market's organic representation. And now we move beyond Google into Yelp, TripAdvisor, and then even beyond there to asset creation and tagging and optimization within your listings on each of these platforms. So overall, I'm not going to read all these last bullet points, but overall, the mission is to inspire confidence travelers and locals by having information on your website that accurately represents your destination, your businesses, and all of your partners. So next slide, please. So this is taken on by a 3-step process. First, we do an audit that really looks at a comprehensive assessment of your online presence. So it would look at Google Travel, Google Maps, and then your business listings on Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor. This really allows us to create priority action items, which moves us into the activation stage. Through the activation, we're able to submit critical missing information. So something as simple as missing dates on events or hours of operation and details about whether you have delivery or pickup options for your restaurants or touchless concierge at a hotel, things like that, that really add to the user experience and make them feel super comfortable coming to your businesses. We also, through activation, are looking at trackable distribution of high quality photos. So that could include photo shoots that create new assets for you. Google Street View, for example, it won't be hitting the streets again for another 2 years. So there's a real opportunity to kind of look at what can we do to showcase the improvements and the evolutions that our communities have made in the time that it takes Google to catch up with everything. So it sort of puts the power back into your hands to manage that online presence. And finally, real quick. Finally, if you could go back one slide. Yeah, the training and support mechanism is really, the first 2 steps are focused internally at your organization or DMO. And then the last step is focused on how we bring your community along. So we would run training sessions, could be in person or virtual, depending on your needs and availability of your folks in your community. And then also we offer one-on-one support from our program specialists. So that's giving the opportunity to your local businesses to address their specific questions and needs in a one-on-one format versus hoping that they'll be able to engage on this larger platform that we also offer. All right, next slide. So again, we've got 3 pricing tiers here that I just want to emphasize there's no cookie cutter approach to this. So these sort of help us break out how we might approach different size destinations or communities, but we can also tier it further to meet your specific needs. So there's a real opportunity, like if you look at the small and rural DMO portion, if you have less than 250 businesses and you want to do this training and have this asset creation for your entire community, we can look at how that tiers out and what that means from a price point standpoint. So we do have those opportunities, but each level does include each of those 3 steps, from an audit to an activation to the training and kind of overall action plan going forward. So I'm always open for questions, and I know there's kind of a lot of moving pieces to this type of a program, but we're excited to help you kind of tackle your total online presence and reputation management.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you.
So the next up is actually the Visitor Center program, and I'm going to have Alex take you through that.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everybody. Alex here again, just to talk about the AVIC program. I oversee the program. We actually have over 65 visitor centers to date. That's a super exciting number considering just in 2019, we started with 0. The Visitor Center program really plays a critical role in how we promote Arizona as a travel destination. And when I talk about this with communities, they're really like that first line that gets to be able to communicate with the visitors, really what to see and do here in Arizona. And it's the first interaction. We want it to be a positive one. So these centers, like I said, give communities the opportunity to provide a first impression, and it's essential to how we promote local, regional, and statewide attractions, destinations, etc. It's also really great for our research team. We partner with them to provide the visitor numbers every single month. That helps aggregate different things around the state for us. Visitor centers that complete the application process online, they'll achieve the official Arizona Visitor Information Center accreditation. They'll be listed on all of AOT's consumer marketing resources. VisitArizona.com has its own dedicated page to visitor centers, and each visitor center has their own page on top of that they can then manage. A listing on the official state travel guide and map. We actually, on our map, every visitor center has its own little blue question mark. And additionally, one that's not listed on here is AOT works directly with the Arizona Department of Transportation on those blue signs you see all over the state. And once you become a visitor center, we'll work with ADOT to get those placed for you. And you're also going to be supplied with AVIC marketing material. Our visitor centers were the only ones that were able to participate in our Appreciate AZ cleanup kits that were widely popular, and we're looking to order more. So we encourage you guys to join our program, support Arizona tourism and our visitors. Thanks.
Thanks, Alex. And now Jamie is going to take us through the translation services.
Okay, this has been fairly popular, and it's translation services in these languages. We are utilizing our reps to assist. It would be project-based, so what that means is whatever it is that you would need translated, we would connect you with the reps, and you would talk about scope of work, what that looks like, and budget. But it can be something as small as signage and something as large as a visitor guide. So definitely do take advantage of that, because these are at negotiated rates, and these are the reps that we work with every year. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out.
Awesome. All right, so now we're going to go over some of our essential next steps. We did want to review the online selection form. There is a new video that you can download and watch as you go through for anybody that has not been through this process before. And there is a new section where you will actually have to create a login and password this year. So heads up on that, but it's really great because you only have to do it once, you can save it, and then all of your information is able to be saved. So again, just make sure that you go through each of the selections. On the right-hand side, you can skip through back and forth if you need to, and again, save often, and so that you can do a screenshot or however you want to get that approved.
Can you mention the max budget again?
Oh, yes. And just as a reminder, again, the max budget is the $75,000 per partner. It's not going to say that because we haven't updated it yet since it's such a new development, but you can, the program will allow you to select up to $75,000. It'll give you a pop-up. It's like, hey, you went over 50, but we all know that's okay. So just ignore it, send it to me anyway. So we did include some selection form tips and tricks just to make sure that you know, helpful tips along the way. So you will need to set up a user account to access the form this year. Remember your login and password. There is, if you do happen to forget it, you can request a new one. Save your selections often, just kind of like when you're in Excel, just save, just to be sure. But it's really nice to have that so that if you do need to get approval or show someone else or can't finish your selections at the same time, you have a chance to go back. Your running tally of your budget will continue to be on the right-hand side, so you can kind of watch that as you create selections. You can fill it up as much as you want, remove selections, all of that functionality is there. If you want to skip selections, on that right-hand column, there are little arrows that you can skip. So if you don't happen to want to do any print or whatever that happens to be, you can skip that section or go back and forth. There is a back button at the bottom of the page as well if you need to do that. I do want to call out that some programs are multi-month opportunities. So please read the information. If it's a selection you're interested in, there are some that will call out like only select the first month or must select 3 months or however that happens to be to make the pricing work. So just please make sure that you pay attention to those selections that you want and make sure you read all those carefully. And then again, we have a higher maximum budget. We also wanted to put together a guide for co-op success. So there are always new members or members who have a new offering that they haven't worked with a new partner before. So this is kind of a really quick snapshot of what happens in this program. And it takes you kind of step by step on once you receive your selection approval, what do you do all the way till the end when you can request reporting and all of that fun stuff. So if you have any questions on this guide, please feel free to reach out to us. We also put together a troubleshooting guide. So basically, Jamie and I are your #1 contacts. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We put together a list of sort of what the most often questions are. So if you have creative issues and you need help, we can help you get creative made. If you have a new employee and you aren't the one that made the selections and you don't know how this program works, contact us. We're happy to take you through anybody through it. If you need to move a placement or cancel a placement, again, it's absolutely required to reach out to us and let us know so that we can align the AOT's payment with the correct month and with what you're actually running. I need billing help. If you've reached out to the publisher and there's an issue that can't be resolved, contact us. We'll help you through that as well. Some other things are, how do I get my creative approved, or I forgot who my publisher contact is, or I can't reach them, there's a problem with communication. We're here, we're available. We want this to be as successful as possible for every single one of you. So please use us as resources. We are going to have media office hours again. You can schedule yours at mediainquiry@offmadisonapp.com. And again, this is strategic help. If you want to tell us your goals and what you already have set aside for your marketing and how we can fit things in to bolster your awareness out there with everybody, we can help you with that. If you're just not sure about how the program works, or if you have questions about contracts, things like that, please feel free to reach out to us, and we're here to help you create the best program for your community. And then final reminders, I'm going to actually hand off to Jamie.
Okay, guys, so everything that we've talked about, the presentation, the forms to participate, the guidelines, and the reporting selection sheet are all available at this website. We have also put it in the chat just to make sure if you want to click on that at some point and bookmark it. It is a deep link. It'll take you where you need to go. Give us like a couple hours to get everything posted, but it will be there by end of day. The applications affidavit, well, I should say applications and selection sheet receipt are due by July 23rd by 5 p.m. As noted by Alex, if you want to go ahead and turn your affidavit in by that deadline as well, you're going to send it to her. But if you need more time, deadline is September 30th. The approvals, final approvals. So as you know, once we get everybody's stuff, then we have to start kind of like putting together the puzzle. We want to try to get everything out to you the first week of August. And then due to the specific nature of the rural marketing co-op, once opportunities are approved, no changes or cancellations are allowed without telling us, just so we can make sure that what the unintended consequences of that would be, as well as our match on it. Okay, there's our contact details. Most everything has a contact for it, but here you have them in a list. And also, one last thing before we open it up to Q&A, which I actually should have led with. I kind of buried the lead here a little bit, but everything that you see featured in this program really was highly influenced by the survey that we sent out earlier. Your feedback is very important to us because this is really your program. So we hope that we were able to kind of cover off on everything that everybody requested, and thank you so much for doing that. We cannot work in a silo, so thanks again. So at this time, we'll go ahead and open it up for Q&A. I assuming we're doing this by the chat?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have questions, please ask them now, or if you're a little shy, or you don't have enough time, you can always follow up at a later time.
You can also submit your question anonymously if you don't want your name on it. That's fine too. We're happy to help.
Aha. And also, just everything, take a look at the appendix. It has a lot of information in there. I'm backing into Carrie over here. And that does include the previous.
Yes, so if you do have questions on the affidavit changes, there are some facts, there's some questions. Alex's information is in there for you to reach out to her, but read through, and there's actually a link to the affidavit as well in the appendix. When you receive that today, take a peek at that and then reach out to Alex.
So we had our first question for translation services. Do we contact reps directly? Actually, you can go through us because we want to kind of do that handshake, because we just want to make sure that that you are getting a good rate. So once we get you guys kind of like matched up, then you can work together.
And when you are filling out your your survey, or I'm sorry, when you're doing your selection sheet, there will actually be rep contacts and who to contact for each of these opportunities in that form. And I believe Jamie is listed as the contact for that.
We are happy to help.
All right. I think most of the questions that were in there have been answered directly. I don't think we have any open questions at the moment.
Let's see. So again, as a reminder, while we're just waiting for any questions, the recording of this webinar will be available later today at tourism.az.gov at that link that is in the chat, and that's deep links. It'll take you where you need to go. We have a question, direct question that Becky Blaine is answering regarding Brand USA. Okay. Anything else? Give you a couple more minutes.
Hey, Jamie, it's specific, not the Brand USA events, but Brand USA campaigns. Do you and Carrie want to touch on the Brand USA campaign updates, please?
Yes.
Sure. So there you are correct. There are no Brand USA actual media campaigns that are directly being offered through the Rural Co-op this year. And that is just due to, there's everything's still really up in the air. Even with Brand USA, they do have programs that we will be participating in. So if you wanted to do a one-off, you could always reach out to myself or Jamie and let us know that you're interested in international, and we could try to still align you and find a way to work with you on those. We also really wanted communities to be able to focus on domestic this year. But if it is of interest and of importance to you, please reach out to us directly. We do have opportunities we'll be doing on the AOT side.
I'd also like to chime in that at the time of the publication of this webinar, Brand USA still did not have their sales sheets out. So
yes,
we didn't know exactly what they were offering. So, but again, yes, as Carrie said, if that is something that you are interested in, please do reach out to us.
All right.
Okay.
I don't see any more rolling in. So as usual, we are always available. If you do want to sign up for office hours, please do so. We're happy to help in any way possible. Thank you.